Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. Thank you guys for joining us on this Monday evening. Get your week starting off right. Congratulations to Denver Nuggets fans out there. They look like they're going to win the championship tonight. Like we said in Game 5, we got a good Just Stop tweeting. We're going to talk to DeJounte Murray trade rumors and a bunch more tonight. But we're going to start off with the Braves recap of the weekend. They take 2 out of 3 against the Nationals. Their 7-game win streak is snapped. But when you look around the rest of the NL East and how they're struggling, the Phillies and playing the Dodgers and the Mets just can't seem to get anything going, and their lead just keeps growing. Now, I will say the Marlins, they took 2 out of 3 against the Sox. They're keeping pace. But I'm telling you guys, I don't think it's sustainable, just the way that they keep winning. They're the cardiac kids, man. They keep coming from behind. I think they have 20 come from behind victories or something ridiculous. And they're like 18-4 in one-run games. And, you know, it's a fun time to be a Marlins fan because you have a young team, like I said, that's gaining some confidence and they're playing well at the end of games. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure how much that is sustainable. But anything that stood out to you over the weekend from the Braves, Alex?
AJ Smith-Shawver. I don't know how the Braves keep doing it, but it looks like they got another guy. I saw some people trying to talk about it wasn't a good outing. It was a great outing. He didn't give up any earned runs. I think that's got to stand out. Matt Olson's bomb. I feel like the past 2 home runs in Truist Park for Matt Olson have gone over the chop house. Matty O, and the O stands for over the chop house, but it's got to be AJ Smith-Shawver and how he looks to be the guy in the rotation. It looks like if Max Fried or Kyle Wright don't come back, he's here to stay. Even if they do come back, he's probably not the first to get the boot from the rotation.
Yeah. I mean, I was really impressed with AJ Smith-Shawver. I saw the same thing. Some people on Twitter acting like it wasn't that good. And he did run out of gas a little at the end, which isn't too surprising. Like you saw his velo drop and stuff at the end. Which is something that I noticed. But overall, you don't give up an earned run. I don't care who you're playing. And the Nationals, as we saw, their offense, it's not as bad as people are like. I mean, I think they have a higher OPS than a lot of really good teams like the Padres and stuff like that. So calling them a minor league offense, yeah, it's not elite, but it's not terrible. And anytime you throw 5.1 scoreless or, no earned runs over 5.1 innings, I'm not sure, especially in your first major league start, how anyone can say anything negative about them. There were some things that were like, I get it, but overall, you don't give up an earned run. It's a great start, and he looks like he's here to stay. And I think that's the big storyline of the weekend, without a doubt. And the Braves take 2 out of 3, win another series, and they look like the best team in baseball again, like we all thought they were going to look in May. So it looks like they're back, all the way back. And AJ Smith-Shawver having him. We've seen Bryce Elder kind of trip up the last few starts, and I know people are down on that. But I looked at Bryce Elder's start yesterday, and I was like, he made a few bad pitches. And that's the way his last 2 starts have gone. He just made a couple of mistakes. But overall, I think the stuff's been really good. And I'm not down on him. I still think Bryce Elder's a guy. I know people are starting to get down, but he doesn't have to be a number 1. He doesn't have to be a number 1. That's Spencer Strider jobs. Charlie Morton should be the number 2 while Max Fried's out, and he should be the number 3. And I think that he's still a very good number 3 that the Braves should feel confident in every time he toes the rubber.
Yeah, prior to all these injuries to the rotation, coming into the season, the expectation was for him to be maybe the 5th starter, in competition with the 5th starter. So it seems like everybody just kind of forgot that this guy's ceiling isn't exactly, a frontline starter. He isn't that guy. His stuff isn't elite. The guy knows how to pitch. I don't want to, talk down on Bryce Elder because I still am a huge fan. He just might be that kind of guy that's 2 times through the lineup kind of guy. Ian Anderson showed that a lot, and we still won a lot of games with him. So, he tripped up a little bit, but nobody should be too concerned.
And nobody should be concerned about anything the Braves are doing right now.
Yeah, there's nothing to complain about.
But it is funny. Like, you lose 1 game, and it just doesn't take much for this fan base to turn on you. And I think I even had to just stop tweeting myself. I really got the Braves fans riled up with my Freddie Freeman talk. And I have to do it at least once a year. He's on my wall in the background here. He's still on my wall. I still say what's up and give him a kiss every morning. I miss him. I just think that whole discourse to me is hilarious because everyone freaks out and wants to freak out about everything that the Braves do. Like, they're ready to send AJ Minter to Gwinnett. They're ready to, get pissed off at Alex Anthopoulos for the littlest thing or get pissed off at. But yet, when I bring up the only bad thing the Braves have done in the last 5 years, it's like it's like voodoo. Like you can't talk about it, you can't say it, but you can say all this other ridiculous stuff like AJ Smith or AJ Minter and Michael Harris belong in Gwinnett and stuff like that. Like you can say all that crazy outlandish stuff, but when I bring up an actually valid thing that they've done wrong over the last 5 years, which there's so few, the Braves are one of, if not the best ran organizations in baseball. People freak out, and it's like you can't say that. It's like saying Voldemort's name. Like you're not allowed to say it. I'm like, dude, all I'm saying is like they made a mistake. Like it's really not that serious. But like people hate when you bring it up, and I'm like, yeah, but like it kind of sucks, man. Like the guy's hitting 340 out there and like looking like an MVP. Like imagine if you had him and Ronald hitting 1-2. That's all I'm saying. Like it would be pretty. I mean, this team would be unbeatable, bro.
Listen. Matt Olson's kissing 900 OPS. The guy's an all-star. Me and Jake have been very outspoken that we are not on your side with this. And listen, but I get the points that you bring up. The whole talk about how like Freddie didn't choose Atlanta. If Freddie wanted to be in Atlanta, he would, are valid. But if the Braves wanted Freddie in Atlanta, he would have been in Atlanta too. It goes both ways. I see your argument and how all the Braves had to do was just acquiesce his request of, I think it was an extra year or a little bit more money, AAV. And listen, acting like the Braves came out of this, the big losers like you are doing, is completely blown out of proportions. Matt Olson's an all-star, 900 OPS. Yeah, the guy is batting 220, but when the guy is hitting tanks like he is, I don't care. Braves hit bombs. I mean, I get everything you're saying. And the whole notion that we can't even bring up Freddie, Drake does that a lot, where it's like, he didn't choose us. I'm tired of talking about this guy. This guy is an all-time great in this franchise. He brought us a World Series, and then he went to our biggest rival. This will be a story until they retire, and even long after that. I don't care what people say about I'm tired of hearing about it. Well, you're going to keep hearing about it because it was arguably the biggest move in franchise history. Now, it was not the worst move in franchise history. You acting like we just got the worst first baseman on the market when we
I don't let that. Whoa. I never act like that.
You say the worst move in franchise.
Yes. I do. I believe that. I think it's one of the worst.
That's
moves
crazy.
It's not, because I'm not. It has nothing to do with Matt Olson. Like Matt Olson's a good player. Like I hate when people bring it like I'm saying like Matt Olson's not a good player. Like he's a solid player. Like he's a good first baseman. Like he's a borderline all-star. But you let a first ballot Hall of Famer walk out that door over a 6th year over petty stuff. And people want to be like, bring up the details. And I'm telling you, the details of what happened and the agent stuff don't matter. You get in a room with your franchise player and you don't let them walk out the door until a contract's signed. You don't even need agents. Like we don't even need all this bull crap. Like when it comes to a guy like that, this is a guy under no circumstances you should have let out the building. And I know the Braves don't operate that. And typically it works in their favor. And that's how they run. And like in this case, it just didn't. And like there's just no beating around the bush how much better he is than Matt Olson. And on top of that, you gave up prospects that you could have brought. So imagine if you had Freddie at pretty much the same number. And then you use those prospects to get another big time player, another big time player, another all-star. So that's all I'm saying. Like, it's like, I really don't understand like why people can't just like see my end of the thing. I'm like, that's a bad move. Like that's a really bad move. And for a team that doesn't make bad moves, like we're not the Oakland A's. It's not the worst move in MLB history by any means or anything like that. But for the Braves, who have made very, very few bad moves since I have been alive in 30 years, they've been one of the most well-run organizations. That's why I'm saying you just screwed up letting a first ballot Hall of Famer walk out the door over a 6th year, like over petty stuff.
Yeah, you're talking about it. And I think that if the Braves had an owner, a single person owner, Freddie would still be an Atlanta Brave. That's the kind of stuff that Jerry Jones, he goes into a negotiating room with Ezekiel Elliott himself or Dak Prescott himself and says, what do I need to do to get this done? And that's not how the Braves operate. And it's benefited them a lot more than it's hurt them, just as you said. But this is just how the Braves operated. And I respect Alex Anthopoulos, listening to Freddie's agent, basically give him this ultimatum. And he goes, no, you're not going to give me the ultimatum. I'll go get the next best guy on the market. I'm a prideful guy, and I think that Alex Anthopoulos did something that we could all respect, and not let somebody put himself in a corner. You know, he shifted the room. He was like, all right, Freddie, you know, it wasn't to Freddie, it was to the agent. And we all know the story. Everybody knows the story. It wasn't, you know, if Freddie wanted to be here, he would have been here. His agent screwed up royally. I think that's the main point that a lot of people are upset with you saying this, is that it was the Braves' decision to go after Matt Olson, but it wasn't their decision to give themselves an ultimatum. And it wasn't really Freddie's decision either. And yes, Freddie's got to be more informed and, you know, step in. It's his life. It's his contract. It's his career. But I think that the worst move in franchise history is crazy. These guys have been on this team. We're not even through year 2. And you were saying it's the worst. What if, and another point, Matt Olson might go through slumps. You know, he had one of the worst slumps of his career last year. It was the worst slump of his career. But you know when it matters? October. And that guy was a beast last October. That's all I care about. Listen, I know Freddie's a beast in October too, but
that's a valid point. I mean, listen, if Matt Olson comes in and has these October moments like he did last year, like he had big moments in that Mets series, he had big moments in that Philly series. He was really the only guy that showed up. Like, that's a valid point. Like, this could all be shoved in my face because it doesn't really matter, because like they're going to get to the playoffs, like with Matt Olson or Freddie Freeman. If Matt Olson has a better playoff career, then I don't really get, like, you can easily say I don't really give a crap at what if Freddie racks up 2 more MVPs and hits 340 and sets all these batting records and hits like a first ballot Hall of Famer the whole duration of his contract. We don't know if that's going to happen, but it is a valid point. It is a valid point. Coming up after the break, we got to just stop tweeting Baby Gronk. Come on.